Good morning once again. Your time right now is 24 minutes past 8. You're tuning into iSpy Radio 87.5, and of course, as promised, our Safprom Food for Thought talkback. Of course, our special guest Clayton is in the studio right now. Good morning, Uso.
Good morning, Laz. Good morning, Samoa. Good to be on air this morning. Thank you for the opportunity. Just be talking about something different from my usual program.
That's right. How's your morning though?
That was really good. I guess traffic was a little bit of a delay this morning, but man, what a view coming in and seeing our first cruise ship.
Oh man.
I've been going on 3 years, haven't seen a big boat on our wharf, so it's really good to see the tourists coming back into our wharf and our ports, visit our island. So it's a good sight this morning, lovely weather as well.
That's right, beautiful weather this morning. Of course, for those who don't know, Clayton Simamao of R&J Honey, of course, has been a beekeeper for the last 5 years. Is that right?
Yes, been beekeeping for the last 5 years. Just learning as I go. I've been guided by my predecessor, or usually my mentor, who should I say, Mr. Lester Dean. Mr. Raymond Voigt was my first beekeepers who mentored me over the years. So just a brief background, in 2017, 2018, started beekeeping and started first as a hobby. Now it's just something that I'm really passionate about, and it goes well with my farming experience I've learned over the years. So it's really fun times learning how to do beekeeping.
Your farming experience? Have you always been doing that other than
I guess I would say, Laz, my family's I grew up in a family that has farm experience a lot. So, but I'll be the first person in my family that does beekeeping. So usually it was a really challenging experience for me. I did it by myself, and then I just learned as I go under the guidance of Mr. Lester Dean. So I would say is the godfather, or is the most experienced beekeeper in Samoa that I know of. And then I've been networking with other beekeepers. So from there, my passion just grew. It went really well side by side with my farm. So I have a farm that just work after hours, usually because I have a full-time job. And then so the farming and beekeeping is something I do on the weekends. And so it just grew into something I'm really passionate about. And thankfully, we have projects, a lot of government-funded projects. We have the Safprom. We also have the Peers projects that's been implemented in a few of associations. Samoa Farmers Association is one of this association that's been lucky enough to be granted under this project of the Peers project. So I've been working with them, and under their umbrella, I've been just helping out installing beehives for a few of the selected farmers under the Samoa Farmers Association. So it's really good. I would say that thankfully, lately they've been getting a lot of grants, projects just to work on more agriculture products in the industry, and beekeeping is one of the new industry that our government is looking to expanding, really more of reviving, expanding. And we do have a new association. I wouldn't say it's been was it launched this year? Started from last year. Now it's Samoa Apiculture Organization with Mr. Richard Wetzel, our president, and we have also Saron Pinfacio, who's also in the committee with Ms. Shelley. So we have a really active association now. That's the mother body of beekeeping in Samoa, which is Samoa Apiculture Organization. So it's good times for us in the beekeeping industry. We're just trying to really revive it and take it along to the point that we could build in the industry in the islands. Pretty sure a few are aware that honey products, so honey cannot be imported into Samoa. So honey cannot be imported into Samoa. So which is why we would say that, if you do look at the cost of honey, it is undersupplied. So there's always a big demand for honey in Samoa, but it's just for us beekeepers try and match this demand. So there's a big gap, but I believe in the way we're heading with the association now form, and we also have subgroups. We have SWAG. We have Samoa Farmers, we have WIPTI, and these are the few associations working alongside the mother body just to build this industry. So big shout out to and big thank you to all the presidents of the different associations that have been guiding us for the coming years.
Hey, good morning once again to everyone tuning in to iSpy Radio 87.5. Yes, your time right now, it is 34 minutes past 8. And if you're tuning in, you're just in time for a Safprom talkback, of course, with Clayton. Of course, you were mentioning earlier, so this has been 5 years since you've been beekeeping. Is that correct?
Yes, going on to 5 years this year. from working on my apiary, which is my farm at Alisa. Started back in 2018. First, I think the first 2 years was just more of a learning curve for me, being under the guidance of my predecessors. So working with them, and then actually just working on my farm now, my beekeeping farm, which is an apiary. Started with 2 hives, grew it up to 10. And then at one time went up to 20. I just had to slow down for a bit because a lot of my hives were now been used by or given out to splits to different beekeepers. Because if we're sticking to our motto of trying to grow the industry, you don't want to be holding on to your bees. You got to share it, more like split it as well, because this animal of bees is a lot of been known. It's inconsistent with the environment. Well, what that means is at one time your farm may be doing really well with good honey harvest. Following year could be good. And then sometimes it just comes out there's no honey harvest. So at the same time you got to look out by diversifying your bees. What that means is we try out different locations. So I've been working with especially on the Samoa Farmers Association. So we have some of hives that was given to them. They got 15 new boxes from Beers. So Beers granted them 15 new beehives. From there, I was helping them out by helping them distribute these hives to different locations. We have some in Sava'i. And then we also have some in Upolu, down the Malala strip, down there to Fastotai, going out to Alisa. It yields different results, I would say. I guess the best results we always get is from Sava'i. You've noticed a lot of, if you go into the retail shops, a lot of the honey that we have in the shops are all from Sava'i. Down the Latawa area, from Opo, Asau, going on down to Neyefa, Lima, Vaisala. So these are the prime areas that we found out has really good honey harvest. Probably be one is the environment. A lot of fruit trees, a lot of plants available, food for the bees, pollination as well is really strong there. Minimal chemical usage actually is another good reason, because we've noticed a lot of farms, even at Alpo, is certified organic. So there's minimal usage of chemical pesticides, so which really works well for the animal, for the bee. And so that's why we probably contribute to the fact that they have a really big harvest. And you also notice Opu honey is one of the biggest honey producers in Samoa. So these are the beekeepers that they've really picked up their location really well. So if you were thinking of beekeeping, you this is one of the first things you want to look at too, is you got to have a good site. You work with a beekeeper that has farms, and then he will tell you the first thing is look at your site. You don't want to put your bees up to a high altitude area. It hasn't been found that if you have your beehives up in, like, let's say, put it up in Lalongea, really high up altitude areas, which is really rainy and really moist air. So it also impacts the bee life, the bee colonies. So it's really dry area that's really good, sunny. A lot of sun is really needed by the animals. So I said for the last 5 years, it's been a learning curve. I also wanted to acknowledge we were just a few months ago, under the support from UN, we also got an online course for a few beekeepers that was done by the Caribbean. So we had about 10 plus beekeepers who were passed, and they set this course. It was about a 15-week course, and waiting for the graduation. So it's really good that we're moving forward under the guidance of our president, just to learn more about beekeeping, because if we compare ourselves to the other islands, Fiji to be exact, they're really strong in apiculture. So trying to work with that to boost Samoa. But yes, that's where we're at right now.
What would you say, like, you're transitioning into beekeeping, what would be some of your challenges that really stood out?
There's a lot of challenges. One was lack of knowledge. I jumped in 2017, 2018 I was working for the government. I was working for CSSP. CSSP does donor grants for big donors, DFAT, European Union, World Bank. So when I was working for them, actually a workmate of mine, I was networking with him. I was talking about beekeeping. I had no idea what beekeeping was. So it was through my workmate. He introduced me to Mr. Lester Dean. And from there, I just tagged along at my own expense, just wanted to learn. And Mr. Lester Dean was really kind enough just to show me the corners, show me the curves as well. And then after that, you realize a lot of capital investment is needed, because beekeeping tools and materials is not found on island. You had to actually import it because the boxes can't be treated. So it has to be brought from overseas. We do have some local retailers now selling it, but it's a lot of investment in the terms of tools. There are other tools that is needed for you to, to really have a healthy living colony. So this was one of the big challenge, looking for the resources, looking for the support, the financial support. So I think the first I had to personally invest in my own equipment at first, and then from there just grew. So when the government shifted in to invest more in beekeeping, it was a really good sign that the future looks bright in the industry. So now, like with the grants, especially for Pires, Safprom, these are some of the projects that are now supported the local farmers. Because again, you know, if we talk about beekeeping, you don't want to just talk about honey. There's all other added value benefits. You're looking at beeswax. That's another added value benefit that you could use. You can actually do cosmetics, soaps, candles. These are all made from beeswax as the, you know, primary ingredient. And then if you want to jump more into it, then you got to look at the other benefits of bees, which is the environment. You know, that's the greatest gift that bees give us is pollination. So a lot of the, you know, my networking are ornamental growers. I have a good friend, Leo Pepe Lassa. She is a really good ornamental. So she is only installing bees not for the honey, but to grow her flowers, because her flowers bloom and blossom really well because of the bees, how it donates and actually contributes to pollination. So these are the added benefits. I think we just need to build on this knowledge and expand on it.
So how did it feel when you like first got your, let's say, your big harvest of honey?
Oh, it was really exciting. I would say I was really happy. But you know, there's that someone was saying your first harvest, you can't sell it, you got to give it away. So I got my first harvest. It went to family members, friends, people who helped me along the way. So you know, that's that feeling of the end goal, but it doesn't end there. I had that feeling of really gratitude, appreciative. So it was really good feeling. Last year I had a really good harvest again. It was more than nearly 60 kilos of honey. So you know, half it, give it away. Other half, you just try to cover your expense for now. But it's a great feeling. And then you sometimes have that feeling of a different, you may expect them to gold honey, but sometimes it goes on dark honey. It really is no difference. It's just the different visuals, but it's the same benefit. So I think that was the feeling I had at first. It was just gratitude and happy, you know, being excited about it.
But currently, because you mentioned before, because it's a limited amount of people that actually harvest, beekeep. So with the high demand of honey there is in Samoa, how would you say, like, what does it mean to you in growing the honey industry?
Our last survey, I think this was a study back in 2018, 2016. I'll have to get the actual figures. We have about 550 to nearly 600 active hives on island. So it's still it's less than 1,000 hives. So that's a small amount of, you know, active hives. But we're hoping the mother body of the association, or Samoa Apiculture Organization, we're looking at doing another survey, depending on project grants. So this is another thing that we could seek the help from Pires and Safprom, is actually doing another consultant study, do a study, how many active beehives are actually in Samoa, how many active beekeepers, and then trying to calculate, you know, an annual production. Because in our recent study or figures we have, we about 8 tons a year, which is still, they may say it's between 5 to 8 tons. It's still a lot, but it can't meet the local demand. Because if we want to grow the industry, then we want to export. But even right now, we can't export honey because we don't have enough supply. So these are why networking with different beekeepers is just trying to build on this, grow the production of honey actually.
How much would you say is like would meet the demand of exporting as well as supplying for those here local?
I probably want to be talking about 30 to 50 tons a year. So then there we could actually meet the local demand, and then we actually look at exporting overseas. There is a high demand overseas for it, but you know, if we look in New Zealand just has one of the best honey in the world. The Manuka honey is well known. The marketing of that honey, it's really well known. It's just Samoa has the tropics for it. We have the weather for it, and now we just got to really invest in building honey. And I think with the support, again, acknowledging the support that we get from Pires, Safprom, these are the projects that could actually get us there, because we don't have a self or individual investment just to do it ourselves. We need a collective investment as well.
You are listening to iSpire Radio 87.5. Of course, we have our talkback on right now with Safprom, Food for Thought. Of course, we have inside the studio with us a man of many talents, Mr. Clayton. Of course, he was telling us about his transitioning into beekeeping as well as the honey industry in Samoa. But you were mentioning earlier how you were giving your boxes to help grow the industry. So how did that passion come along? Did it come along when you were starting beekeeping, in growing the honey industry in Samoa?
It was probably, I would say, when receiving my first 2 boxes, because I started with 2 boxes. That's when I bought it off Mr. Lestadino, who was really kind enough to give me some chambers just to start off. And then over the years, it was the first 2 years was learning curves, as I mentioned. And then when you receive your first harvest of honey, it just built it on from there. And then down the line, you just see that there's a high demand of honey, high demand of beekeeping in Samoa, and your passion just grew. And then watching online videos was another thing for me. I guess just learning as you go. But I would also say that it's the continuous challenges from beekeeping that really pushed me to be more passionate, because I learn something every week now. I read books from what's going on around the islands, like for our recent course, how beekeeping in the tropics and Caribbean is a bit different from us in the Pacific. So what's going on in Fiji, what's going on in New Zealand, it's just more learning. I think the personal development and my own capacity knowledge that I gained from beekeeping is just grew my passion for the industry of honeybees in Samoa.
Because you also recently engaged with the Pyrus project.
Yeah.
You were helping support members of the Samoa Farmers Association to establish their hives as well.
Yeah, so Pyrus project, they funded 15 new beehives for Samoa Farmers Association. Yeah. So how I came into play was from that 15 boxes, I just helped the 15 members on the Samoa Farmers banner to go install these new boxes, check their sites. If it's, a site that's, let's say, healthy for the bees, from these 15, then I'll help them install. And then along the line, doing the monitoring, because that's a really important aspect of beekeeping, because you just can't install beehives in one location, then pray it will grow and then survive. You had to come there for the following 6 weeks, because of the first 5 weeks after installation is really important. That's the monitoring side. So you got to monitor the bees. Are they strong? Are they the queen bees growing, building more brood, giving laying eggs? So you got to look for these signs, make sure the bee colonies is really strong, and it comes in the first 6 months. So that's the period that I had to help and work with farmers. And at the same time, I guess talk to them, network with them, train them, and then just help them and say, okay, this is what we're looking forward to, is look for these signs. When the bees are growing, then it's a good sign. So under the Pyrus project, this is their contribution to Samoa's economy by buying these boxes, because it's expensive. One box could range from 600 all the way to 1,000 ta'ala. And that's how expensive it is. And mind you, I said it comes from, you got to import it from overseas. So if it landing costs, it could be over 1K. It's really expensive. So, you got to really invest your time for this equipment, and at the same time, really nurture your bees.
Yeah, because it comes with the hard work and the prices for the boxes as well. Would you say it's a profitable?
It is. I would say it is, but it's not profitable if you're not putting in your harder thing. Let's say, if you're looking at the honey right now, you could get 250 grams of honey between 12 ta'ala to 18 ta'ala. That's a 250. Go up to 500 grams, and that ranges from 17 ta'ala to 25. And then when you're talking kilos, you're in the 35 to 40 ta'ala mark. And so the more kilos you have, the higher returns you get. But your returns doesn't come easy. You had to put in your hard yards and really invest in putting in these hard yards. And again, if you partner with the support of big umbrella associations, so if you're really looking into beekeeping, really suggest you look into association like SWAG, Safa'a, Wutti. These are the associations you want to join, and they will help you because they have the resources and that's how they assist you. So, for a new beekeeper who's tuning in, this is how to start. This is the way to go. Just join one of the associations and also register with the Samoa Apiculture Organization. And we have a meeting tomorrow. So there's a meeting tomorrow that I've been informed. So it's an important meeting for us beekeepers. And then this is where you just tag along and make a start.
Thank you very much, Clayton. Thank you very much for your time. What would you say is next for your beehive adventure?
Well, there's a lot to do. I think I wanted to look more and invest in added value products. So honey it can be harvested, and I want to look how we can produce more beeswax. We do have a cruise ship here, and guess about it, if we have these beeswax products like soap, candles made in Samoa. These are cosmetic products that are made from beeswax. Have these products at the wharf, and that's the added value benefit. But I guess for my venture is growing beekeeping in Samoa under the guidance of our mother body or main association, and then just see the youth of Samoa really look into beekeeping as a career path.
Thank you very much, Clayton. Any last words or words of wisdom for those aspiring beekeepers?
I guess I want to give a big shout out, big thank you to Safprom.
Yes.
I also want to say thank you to Pires, and also big shout out to the associations, SWAG, Safa, WIPTI, and Samoa Apiculture Organization. Last words want to end up, don't limit yourself. Keep being adventurous. If you get stung, then that's a good sign you're a beekeeper. So,
how many times have you been stung?
I don't want to say. One time I didn't come to work and my boss called me up from Utah, why you not working? I just showed him a photo and he laughed. That had valid excuse. So it looks like I got into a fight, but my bees weren't in a good mood. But fun times only makes the work really more worth it.
Thank you very much, Clayton. Hope you have a beautiful day. Of course, everyone tuning in, hope you all have a beautiful day. Keep it locked right here on iSpy Radio 87.5. Yes, that right there was your Safprom Talkback. Food for thoughts.